All right. So the workday has now ended. I want to take some time here to begin to discuss a very important and, dare I say, esoteric and occultic understanding about the United States. Now, why do I feel that this is important to begin this discussion? Because in a few of my uploads regarding the battle between men and women, gender strife, okay, I had mentioned that, you know, it works to the benefit of the system for us to be at odds with each other. Now, let me qualify that. In no way am I saying that this is an excuse, what I'm about to disclose to you is an excuse to tear down the system or, you know, comprehensively vilify the system. That's not what my intent is. Please do not misunderstand and misconstrue the words that are coming out of my mouth, all right? That is not, it's not to delegitimize the government or, you know, agencies and all that kind of stuff. It is merely to state the facts based upon the research that I have found. And I have done this research over the past 9 years, all right? And I can produce for you the evidence behind the assertions that I make concerning the United States government and its agencies of state, all right? And so with that being said, I plan to, depending on how much I can get out in, you know, in 15 minutes or whatever, I'll do subsequent videos. These are very important. Now, all I would ask is that you keep an open mind, that you fact check. If you're skeptical about what I'm saying, that you just go ahead and fact check it. And if you do find something that is inconsistent, please feel free to come and bring it back to us. And we will correct that information, okay? So I in no way aim to mislead you. I don't have any ulterior motives. If there could be an ulterior motive, it is merely this: to bring together both sides to end gender strife and create gender neutrality in a way where we can work together collectively and cohesively for the betterment of our children and as well as each other being men and women, okay? There's my disclaimer. With that being said, let's begin our little journey here. What you need to understand, okay, about the United States, all right? The United States. Now, we could be talking about the land, so-called landmass they call the United States, or we could be talking about the artificial person, which would be the government, as it were, right? Kind of like a legal person. It exists only in law, okay? Short and sweet, and we'll delve deeper as we go on, all right? But short and sweet of it is it is looked at as a legal person in law, statutes, codes, ordinances, and what have you. There is I want to say he was a jurist by the name of William Blackstone, who went in to great lengths to describe the reason why men create what are called artificial persons. And I'm not obviously reading it verbatim, but I do have recallability on it. And he said that it is necessary to do that because without some type of, organization, right? Organization, that we would never ever come together and work together. And another reason for corporations or legal entities or artificial persons that are recognized in law is because they can't die. Okay, they live on in perpetuity. If I start a business, right, give it a name, I created a legal person, an artificial person, and it takes on its own name. And subsequently, that, since it cannot die, I can pass that business, right, that entity I brought into existence, I can pass that on to my children, and subsequently my children could pass it on to their children, and so on and so forth. And I mean, you may know of companies that have been around for hundreds of years, or at least a couple hundred years, right? Businesses that have been around for a long time. That's because they are not sentient beings. They are not human, right? Who will expire, you know, around 80, 90 years old, you know, Lord willing. And so they, unlike humans, they will live on. And that's what William Blackstone, that's another reason that they created these artificial persons. Well, guess what? Once again, the United States is an artificial person itself. Okay? Now, and the states subsequently are also. The state of, in my case, Wisconsin, that is an artificial person. All right? And now, moving on, those artificial persons need hands, legs, a mouth to speak on its behalf, hands, right, to effect action on action items and what have you, things that need to be done and accomplished, right? Legs to carry it. So guess what? These are artificial persons. They are not physical. You know, with the exception of being reduced to a piece of paper, some kind of a deed or a registration document that evidences the existence of that artificial person. But aside from that, they are not physical, tangible, you know, they don't have a physical body. And so, but yet they're called a corporate body. You see what I'm saying? So these are, it's a type of personification, but the point is that these artificial persons, they need humans to do the work on their behalf because they're not able to do it. They don't have a physical body, okay? All right, so hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down in that. The point being is that, again, I opened saying that the states, you know, the government, these corporate bodies, they need worker bees, as it were, okay? They need worker bees. They need humans who will agree to work and carry out in accordance with the bylaws of the corporation or the artificial person. Okay, so how does a human step into that role or act in that role in accordance with the playwright or the script, which, you know, essentially you follow the bylaws, the statutes, codes, and ordinances, and they tell you what each role should do in the play. All right, you know, you've heard it a lot where it's said that the world is nothing but a stage. The world is a stage. All right, we're all acting and playing roles, playing in roles, and there's a script for each of those roles. So now, okay, when you look in statutes, codes, and ordinances, it'll, in the definition section, it'll bring clarity to the individuals that are subject or subjected under a particular statute. Okay, so it'll go to great lengths to explain. It'll say like a person. What is a person? So in this statute, it'll say something to the effect of a person is defined as X, and it'll go on to define it. Well, you'll go to a different statute, even in the same state, and it'll define person in a different way. You see, these are called terms of art, word art. Okay, the legal system is notorious for playing, you know, in word art. All right, the writer basically sets the conditions of each of those terms, and they don't all apply. The English language is one of the hardest languages to learn because one word could have 4 or so different meanings. Okay, we're notorious for that. Okay, take it for what you will. but that is the case. Man, it is hot. It is 93. I got to turn up the AC. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with you too much. We won't be on here too much longer. It's 10 minutes. So the point is that, again, the world is a stage, and each one of us are playing a role, and each one of those roles has what's known as a certain capacity. When you hear the word capacity, you should think of a baseball cap, or let me say just a cap in general, because the capacity you have to act in a particular society is indicated by the cap you are wearing. So a police officer wears a certain cap, which is indicative of the capacity he or she may act in. You picking up what I'm putting down? A fireman has a different type of hat that indicates the capacity in which he or she acts. You see, it's no different from when you're acting in a play. Everybody has a different costume that indicates their capacity, in other words, their ability to act, the power they have to act. Okay, that's a capacity. We all wear different capacities. Okay, and so now again, each of those statutes are going to define the capacity, the limitations, the abilities of the individual, okay, to whom that particular statute applies. I'll give you an example. If you're familiar with child support, okay, child support lists various capacities. One is a custodial parent. Then it'll say a non-custodial parent. Okay? It'll also say a putative father. Okay? And there's many others. Each of those has a defined movement that they can make in life. Just like a board game. Okay? Let's say chess. So in chess, all of the pieces are shaped and fashioned in such a way that is indicative of their movement ability. Okay, like what is it called? A knight. A knight moves in 90 degrees, in L shape, so straight this way and over, 2 squares or whatever. That's all it can do. That's its capacity, its ability. Okay. All right, and so on and so forth. I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. So the point of the matter is that each one of us as citizens, citizen is a subject status. It's meaning that you basically traded off some or most of your individual liberties to become joined to a particular state or government or what have you, right? You're trading your right to be an individual. You can't just do anything you want to when you join somebody else's society or state. So you relinquish the freedoms that you once had in exchange for whatever rights you are going to be afforded by the state or government you have joined. All right? And those rights that you gain are known as political and civil rights. Those are grants from the government or state you choose to join. Again, if you don't join, if you don't agree to the terms and conditions of the citizenship contract, then you won't be afforded those civil and political rights. We'll get deeper into that as we go forward. The reason for this discussion, once again, is because the women, first of all, you need to become educated as to the functionality, the purpose of the system. All right? Why is that important? Because before you sell out your boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, husband, or ex-husband to the state, you need to understand specifically what you are doing. Okay? That you are in fact trading the human, all right, to this artificial person. You are sacrificing the human being for whatever purpose and reason, just because you guys didn't get along or whatever, you are agreeing to sell them out. I need you to know that. You are agreeing to sell your human brother out to the system. And I want you also to know that the system is not sentient. The system does not run on emotions and feelings. That's why it seems heartless when a judge can throw the book at somebody that has children sitting in the courtroom crying that their dad or mom is about to be locked up for 10 years of their life. Let's say, let's not take it to the extreme case. Let's take it to a very usual, case where it might be a drug case. So I'm talking about a non-violent, okay, where there's really no victim. They call it a victimless crime, and some people argue it's not a victimless crime. I understand some people overdose on things. I get it. I don't want to take it to the, I'm trying to stay with the rule and not the exception. There's always an exception. And so, but let's just say for these intents and purposes, a non-violent situation, let's say a finance situation with child support. You didn't pay, you're $100,000 in debt. You can go and do some serious time, okay, for that so-called offense. You could literally get felonies on your record for that, which will significantly affect your employability, employment options. Okay, and a whole host of other things. I mean, you can have your driver's license taken away, for child support. They can do a whole lot, intercept your taxes. They can, foreclose on you, basically, And so you need to be educated and know how the system works, why it's working the way it does. You need to understand what child support is all about. Child support is intended to recoup the expenses of the state because really child support, really the government's job is to secure its citizens, to protect its citizens, and what have you, and put together programs, right, for the infirm, the widows, and the fatherless. So the system is doing its job. It's just it's not emotional. It don't care about what you're going through today. That you just had a particularly crappy day, someone died in your family, and you lost your job, your boss, treated you some type of way and disrespected you, so you were like, I cannot do this anymore, and you decide and end up getting fired from your job. The child support system and the system don't care about that. The system, it has trips and triggers that when you hit this is going to happen. That's how the system works. It's off and on, baby. The system's not going to sit back and say, oh, I feel so sad that you lost your friend and, you lost your job and, your dog bit you when you walked in the door and now you got rabies or, some dog bit you or whatever. The system is not taking any of that into consideration. The law is this. If you trip that switch, then this is the subsequent reaction. That's how it works. Okay, at that particular point in time, you're going to have a great lawyer who's going to come in and know how to finagle within the civil procedure and whatever and try and get you off. Okay, so now you're caught up in the system. But the point of the matter is you need to know before you get involved. Everybody, I mean, they used to have civics courses and all that kind of stuff, but you notice you don't have that anymore. They took that away. I wonder why they did that, but later for that. The point of the matter is before you sell out your fellow human to the system, understand what the system is about, understand what you are doing. The child support system, it does have its perks. It was designed to keep, people from becoming dependent, okay, and habitually dependent on the system, because they know that it's necessary to have both parents. The system just doesn't care whether it divides the home and you still have both parents. They don't care. The system does not care about that. It'll cut the home right in half and put the father way over here 100 miles away from the children and the mother. But at the same time, the system will make sure that, he's still there and she's still there, but cares little as to whether they're together, so that there's healthy functionality and whatever. So the system really, even though it seems to help, it actually does more damage. Let me say that again. Even though the child support system gives the appearance that it is helping in one way, in several different ways, it is actually more destructive to the family and the family unit. Oh yes, that's for certain. Not even questionable. Okay? All right? So this is why I feel in closing that it is important that we have this discussion. We bring clarity about the system. I don't want to stack too much on, so we'll do it in parts. You just chew on that if you will. But that's what the system is. The system functions. It is a artificial person, and it needs citizens in order to carry on its will. All right, and so if you don't understand how the system works, if you don't understand that the system is not sentient, it's you know, it's not human. It does not care about your human feelings and the issues that you are going through. It does not take that into account. Okay, it looks at the law. The judiciary looks at the statute as written and says, what was the intent of the legislature behind this statute? Not taking into account your predicament as a human. All right. With that being said, I'll end this now at 21 minutes. Hopefully I can keep them at 15, but we'll delve a little bit deeper each time. Take away from this that, you know, think about selling out your human brother, sister to a non-sentient system that does not care about the infirmities, the issues that you have day to day. All right? Only you and I, as human beings, are going to take real humanity into account. And if we don't stick together, and if we don't work together, then the system will take over, comprehensively take over, and then humanity will take a back seat. You've seen the movies. You see what they're telling you about Terminator. The system, the beast system. It's a beast because it has many different parts to it. It doesn't appear to be super strong, but because all of these different things, mechanisms are working together, all of these offices of state, all of the mechanisms of state and whatever, because they all are working as one unit, it's very powerful. And if humans are not careful, we'll find ourselves enslaved to the machine. All right? With that being said, we'll see you on the next upload. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like buttons. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to share. We'll see you on the next upload. All right? And don't forget to go check out Mandemic. Our Facebook group or page is private, so you have to be let in. But go on over there and check it out, especially if you are of the male gender. We're dealing with issues of child support. It's time to overhaul that system. It's time to do something about it and stop just being like a sheep or lamb to the slaughter. All right? We can do something. We have plans, and we're putting our plans over there. So join us and get active today. All right? This is not going to be very difficult to do if we work on it collaboratively and together. All right? With that being said, we'll see you next time. Make it a great day. Peace.